A shrimp smaller than your thumb snaps its claw so fast it creates a bubble of near vacuum that collapses with temperatures reaching 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hotter than the surface of the sun. And it does this thousands of times a day. If you were shrunk down to the scale of that bubble, the sound alone would kill you instantly. Not the heat, not the shockwave, the sound itself. Let that land for a second. We think of shrimp as food. We think of sound as harmless. And we definitely do not think of ocean creatures creating solar temperature plasma. But the pistol shrimp breaks every one of those assumptions simultaneously. And understanding how it does that forces you to rebuild your entire mental model of what energy, pressure, and matter actually are. Here is why this matters beyond just being wild. The mechanism this tiny animal exploits is called cavitation. It is the same force that destroys submarine propellers. It is the same physics that engineers spend billions of dollars trying to prevent in industrial machinery. And a shrimp figured out how to weaponize it 300 million years ago. Whatever it figured out, we still do not fully understand. So let us go deeper. The pistol shrimp has one oversized claw. When it snaps that claw shut, it does so in roughly 1 millisecond. That snap is not what kills its prey. What kills the prey is what happens in the water just in front of the claw. The snap forces water to accelerate so violently that the pressure behind the jet drops below the vapor pressure of water itself. The water literally tears open. A bubble of near vacuum forms. A cavitation bubble. Think about what that means. Water is incompressible. We use it in hydraulic presses to crush cars. But push it fast enough and at the right angle and it rips. The bubble that forms is not filled with air. It is filled with water vapor and dissolved gases at almost zero atmospheric pressure. 1 atmosphere of pressure surrounds it on the outside. Basically, a vacuum sits at the core. That situation is catastrophically unstable. The bubble collapses in less than 300 microseconds, 300 millionths of a second. And when it collapses, all that surrounding pressure does not slow down. It converges on a single point. The energy from a volume of water the size of a marble gets focused into a space smaller than a grain of sand. Temperature rockets to somewhere between 8,000 and 15,000 degrees Fahrenheit depending on the event. Light is released. Actual visible light. This is called sonoluminescence and it is one of the least understood phenomena in physics. And the sound. The shockwave from that collapse reaches 218 decibels at point-blank range. For comparison, a jet engine at full throttle is about 140 decibels. The scale is logarithmic, so 218 is not a little louder. It is roughly 63 million times more intense in pressure terms. That level of acoustic energy does not just hurt. It causes immediate biological tissue destruction. Organs rupture. Cell membranes disintegrate. The shrimp stuns or kills prey up to 2 centimeters away before it even touches them. If this just rewired how you think about the ocean, subscribe right now. We cover the science that textbooks either skip entirely or bury under equations until it stops being interesting. Now here is where it gets philosophically strange. The shrimp is not hot. It is not generating electricity. It has no special chemical reaction happening inside its claw. It is just moving fast. All of that plasma and light and lethal sound comes purely from kinetic energy converted through the geometry of fluid mechanics. This is what physicists mean when they say nature finds solutions that seem to violate intuition. You do not need exotic materials. You do not need extreme environments. You just need to move water in exactly the right way. This second insight matters enormously. The shrimp is essentially a biological converter of mechanical motion into plasma. No furnace. No combustion. No nuclear reaction. Just a claw and a geometry of collapse. Engineers have been trying to replicate this intentionally for industrial cutting tools, targeted drug delivery, and even cancer treatment. Focused cavitation can rupture tumor cell membranes with surgical precision because it delivers enormous energy into a microscopically small volume. The shrimp already solved the engineering problem. We are just catching up. There is also a deeper question hiding in all of this. Where exactly does the light come from? We know the bubble collapses. We know temperatures spike, but the actual mechanism producing the photons is still debated. One leading theory involves quantum vacuum fluctuations. The idea that the collapse happens so rapidly that virtual particles from the quantum vacuum get promoted into real ones. That is not fringe physics. That is a serious hypothesis in peer-reviewed literature. A shrimp snap might be tickling the boundary between classical and quantum physics every single time it hunts. Every day. In warm shallow reefs worldwide. Right now, the ocean floor is louder than most cities largely because of these animals. Pistol shrimp colonies create what oceanographers call a snapping layer of noise that interferes with sonar. During World War II, Allied submarines would hide beneath schools of pistol shrimp because the acoustic noise masked their own engine signatures from enemy detection. A shrimp was a military asset. Nobody in 1942 knew exactly why it worked. They just knew the noise was impenetrable. What all of this points toward is a principle that keeps appearing in cutting-edge physics and biology. The most extreme phenomena in the universe do not always require the largest scales. Sometimes they require the most precise geometry. A collapsing bubble a fraction of a millimeter wide reaches solar temperatures. A claw snap triggers quantum effects. The universe hides its wildest behavior not in black holes alone but in the exact dimensions where pressure, geometry, and time converge with perfect precision. The pistol shrimp did not evolve to be impressive. It evolved to eat. And in doing so, it accidentally became a living demonstration of some of the most poorly understood physics on Earth. Next time someone tells you biology is just chemistry and chemistry is just physics, remember this. A shrimp is generating plasma in the ocean right now, and we still cannot fully explain how the light gets out. If this made your brain hurt in the best possible way, subscribe. Every week we find the one corner of real science that sounds like science fiction and we pull on that thread until the whole picture changes.